You're listening to the Fayetteville 411 podcast, produced by the City of Fayetteville, where you will get information about city government and the programs and services they provide. You'll get topics of interest and an inside look into the various departments that help keep our city moving. I'm John Salling.
And I'm Sherry Kropp. Thanks for joining us for the Fayetteville 411. Today we're going to talk trash with our Solid Waste Division. We are also going to talk about some community engagement events and more. Joining us is Assistant Public Services Director Daniel Edwards and Public Information Specialist Kala Elenes. And we have some special guests that we're going to bring later on in the podcast. Daniel, let's begin with you. Give us an overview of all of the services that Solid Waste provides to Fayetteville residents.
We're excited because we service approximately 64,000 residents every week. And what we do is we collect household trash or household waste, and that's 2 carts per resident, 2 city carts per resident, because they can't be toted from Home Depot or Lowe's. It has to be a city cart. Yard waste collection, we have 10 containerized items every week, and that's for a rollout cart, city rollout cart. Any rollout cart will do for the yard waste. Plastic bags, 30-gallon cans, the plastic ones, and we take twigs or branches up to a certain size. It has to be tied and bundled. In those bags and the cans in the bundles cannot be more than 50 pounds each. So that's very important because we have the guys have to lift them over into the back of the yard waste truck. And then for large limbs, we collect up to 10 cubic yards every other week for large limbs. If you have more than that, then they have to be somebody has to call in and say, hey, I have this big bundle of large limbs. It's probably going to be a paid load. So they have to be paid for if it's more than 10 cubic yards. And then we'll schedule them to be picked up on a Wednesday. And then bulky waste collection, that's every other week also. It's up to 5 items free. So every other week you can put those 5 items out.
And when you say bulky waste, what does that mean? Explain that to the listeners.
So it's couches, mattresses, bedroom sets, kitchen tables, stuff like that. No glass, no windows. Or you have to take the glass and put it in a plastic bag or a box or something, put it in the garbage. No mirrors, stuff like that. But it's bigger items, bulky items. Like I said, couches, love seats, cabinets,
and
stuff
so they
like
just
that.
need to sit that out on their normal bulky waste
on their
day,
normal yard waste day.
On their
normal yard waste day.
So they don't have to make a call for like a special pickup on
Not
that.
if it's 5 items, but if they have metal pickups, then yes, they have to call in.
I did want to mention the metal. Some people hear metal and they don't really know what that might mean. That's like your refrigerator, your washer, your dryer, lawnmower, bicycle.
Lawnmower with no fuel or oil in it.
Okay,
Gotta be careful of that.
And what about people who have items like television or corded items? Are those things that you all pick up too, or do they have to take that to the county landfill?
Yeah, they're supposed to bring those to the county
dump
themselves.
sites? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And they need to
Good.
make sure that the refrigerators, cabinets, everything is emptied out. And then those doors are secured because, you pick that whacking everybody.
Sure.
If they have done a small project inside their house, like if they redid their bathroom themselves, I want to say themselves, they call ahead and say, hey, I'm doing my bathroom. Depending on how much debris they put out, they have to pay for that to be picked up because it's construction debris. We do everything we can to help the residents get rid of their items. We also have a backdoor collection for people that are disabled or can't bring their carts to the front. So if that's the case, they can call the call center, and the call center will reach out to us. We talk to them, give them the information. Basically, we send them the information for their doctor to fill out. Then they send that back to us, and they're a backdoor pickup. It's really that simple. And then so for back doors, we go back there to pick up their trash, and then their recycling. So those are the 2 services for back door. So we go get it, bring it, dump it, and bring it back.
And is that for someone who might have a physical or mobility issue where
Yes.
they can't take the carts out by the road?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and it's an awesome service that we give. I'm really proud of that service because it's helpful. You have a lot of elderly residents out there. Some of them are really struggling to bring their carts to the front and then bring them back. And if we see that, we'll stop our trucks, or any of us will stop and say, hey, that you can get this special service. Some of them like, I don't want it, but we still try to give it to them just so they know it's there, just in case they need it. And then one of the last thing we have is that rapid, which is removal and prevention of illegal dumping, where it is our solid waste curbside compliance element, our code enforcement for the curbside. People sometimes don't know the rules and they'll put stuff out in a manner that they're not supposed to. And so they'll go by those addresses and they will talk to the resident, try to get them to comply, either pay for the stuff to get picked up or bring it to the landfill themselves. And if they don't comply, then there's a process that we go through to make sure that those items get off the curb. Also, they handle illegal dumping. We have a lot of hidden areas in the city where naughty people go and they dump stuff that they're not supposed to dump. So we have cameras up. We have all kinds of different ways that we catch illegal dumping, and we've been pretty successful at it since Rapid has come on board, and we're really proud of that. So that's pretty much all of our services.
All right. And so fully staffed, how many trucks and how many people does it take to provide solid waste services for the city?
Fully staffed, we would have approximately over 80 employees, but that's including office personnel and everything else. For trucks, we have 25 ASLs. Those are the sidearms, the ones that pick up the trash. We have approximately 14 or 15 knuckle booms. Those are the ones that pick up the bulky items in the large limbs. And we have approximately, I want to say 14 or 15 rear loaders. Those are for the yard waste trucks. And then we have smaller vehicles that pick up smaller things and pickup trucks and all that stuff. So, we have a large fleet for for this operation because we have a lot of stuff we have to pick up.
Sure. A lot of different items take a lot of different ways to get it off the curb.
It's a lot, because we have smaller trucks too, because we go down private streets that are not paved, so we go down some nooks and crannies of the city that, just to make sure that we're trying to service the residents as best as we can. So we have purchased smaller vehicles so that we can get in smaller areas so that we can get them the service that they're supposed to have.
And all of those services would not be possible without the people that are out there behind the scenes doing the work.
Yes, ma'am.
And I understand you have some open positions right now. Talk
sure
about
do.
What kind of positions you have available.
So
what are you looking for?
The biggest two positions we have available right now is the Equipment Operator 2 and the Equipment Operator 3. Both of them, you have the Class B license, have to have experience, approximately 2 years experience. The difference in those two positions is the Equipment Operator 2, which we call the EO2, those positions typically drive the rear loaders. The EO3 positions, the Equipment Operator 3, those are the ones that drive the ASL, the one-arm trucks, and the knuckle boom trucks, which are the ones that you have to have the skills to you're driving on the right side of the truck on the ASL, so you have to get used to that.
That in itself, which is, that's...
I did it for years. It's something you have to get used to. Mm-hmm. It's definitely different. And then the knuckle boom trucks, it's just more skill, dealing with the arms and making sure you're not knocking over poles and knocking over cars and people and all that stuff. So those are the positions that we're trying to get filled right now. We have a couple of collectors positions, which are the ones that are on the back of the rear loaders that put the items inside the truck. But the rear loader operation works in conjunction with the driver. So it's both of them doing it together. So those are the big positions that we're trying to get filled right now.
And we talked about that more than 80 staff when fully staffed. Can we say, how far down are we from that number?
Whoa, you want specifics. So I want to say right now we're approximately 5 EO2 positions and approximately 5 EO3 positions, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. Don't get me in trouble.
That you need to fill.
Yeah, we need to fill. Don't quote me on that.
Sure.
But it's definitely important. it's a position that you just can't put anybody in. Even some skilled drivers that come there don't get hired because they just do not understand the skill set that it takes to do solid waste. Over my years, we've seen a lot of people, oh, it's just garbage. It's not just garbage.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to do this job. You have to have a mentality to do this job. You have to be able to deal with the smell to do this job. There's all kind of things you have to be able to deal with to do this job. And it's not for everybody.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not the sexiest job to have, but the city does have very good benefits. So let's talk about some of the benefits.
It's stable city employment, and the biggest benefit that I love about it is the retirement plan. It is a magnificent retirement plan. They match, or not match, but even if you don't set money aside for your retirement,
They make the contribution to it,
the city
yeah.
contributes. The city contributes for your retirement, which nowadays. You don't hear that as much as you used to. So it's really big, so that if you do your 20 years or however many years you do, you walk out of here, you have something to live off of. Because some people don't plan, so the city is planning for you. They have a good health care. So they have good fringe benefits. So I think it's a great place to work.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the shift, too. Some people might find that appealing. It's four 10-hour shifts.
It's 4 10-hour shifts for the most part. Yes, ma'am. It's on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for the most part.
Okay.
And then, there's some extra stuff that they can do on Wednesdays. We wash trucks and grease trucks on Wednesdays. There's always extra work that has to be done. There's
Sure.
never enough time to get garbage picked up. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's one of those jobs that a lot of people maybe take for granted, but
It's a thing. It's kind of a thankless job, but this is my saying, everybody doesn't call on a cop. Everybody doesn't have children. Everybody don't need a fire truck. Everybody has garbage, whether we pick it up or not. Everybody has trash. So it is a position and it is a job that is needed everywhere you go.
And Daniel, how do they apply if someone is interested?
You can go to the city website to look up jobs or careers, and you can find that position is there, and then they can apply online.
I think the web address would be fayetteville.nc.gov/jobs, and then it has all the listings there,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
they can just go in.
Daniel, thank you so much for coming out and joining us today and going through some really good information here about solid waste. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime, any day, I'm here for you guys. Thank you for having me.
Now, Kayla, we're going to move over to you. You are the public information specialist for the Solid Waste Division. And in your role, tell us what you do in your role.
Everything. No, I do.
You do a lot. I know that.
I do a lot, yeah. I work on a lot of video. We have all the videos that you see.
She does great.
I've created those for our website, for social media. I work on graphics. I've created several graphics for social media and our website. I keep the website up to date. Just making sure residents are aware of what is going on as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. And I love the videos. They're very informative and educational and fun too. You've had some really fun ones out there.
Yeah, I love making those videos.
Yeah.
And gone to a lot of different schools in the area too here.
Yes, yeah. We've seen a lot of middle schools lately, but we've been to elementary schools, middle schools, and I think we're going to come up on a few high schools here in the future.
Awesome.
Now, I know another thing that you kind of initiated when you came to the Solid Waste Division was the pop-ups. These are events that happen in the community. It's a way of engaging with the residents and giving them information. So talk about the pop-ups.
So the pop-ups we do in different zip codes around town, we try to be out there and available for all residents. They have questions they didn't think to call, or they don't want to call, they don't want to come by, but they see us and they go, oh, I need to know about household. Where can I find my schedule? What do I do? How many can I set out for yard waste? Anything like that. They can come and stop by. They see us out there, stop by and talk to us. We have the solid waste team there to answer any questions. And if we don't know, we will find somebody who does, and we will get them an answer.
It's a proactive approach to helping the residents out versus them always coming to us. We're trying to go to them, to eliminate any walls, or they might feel like that's intimidating. Everybody doesn't have the internet. So if you see us out there,
Right,
you
yeah,
can come
that's a
and
good
ask
point.
a question. You could have been looking for us forever, trying to figure out how to get something fixed. Now you see us, bam, you just show up there at the pop-up, and we're here for you.
And these take place when? Monthly?
So we were doing the monthly. We're kind of spreading them out a little bit because of all of the events that we've had
Yeah.
together.
Mm-hmm.
But we are trying to have one come up. We don't have the place locked in just yet, but we would like to be there to talk to people if they would like a job with solid waste,
Mm-hmm.
or if they would like to purchase a brown cart.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys are doing cart sales there too, right?
Yes, that's the plan for our next pop-up.
Okay.
Very cool. All right. Now, Kayla, I know one big project you were working on for a while here was our mascot contest for solid waste, and we have our 3 finalists here. Do we want to go around and introduce everybody?
Yeah, so we started out promoting this with a video and reaching out through social media, everything, to try to get a mascot for solid waste. I realized we didn't have one, and I started looking into that a little bit to see if we could get one. And I thought it would be great to involve the students in our community and have them design what they think a solid waste mascot would look like. So we put that out there. We had several entries come in, and right now I have right now we have the top 3 here with us today. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
My name is Megan Moshman. I was third, and I was in 3rd place.
What was your design, Megan?
My design was Petey, the trash can.
Awesome.
My name is Bradley Wallace, and I was in 2nd place, and my design was Rocky Raccoon.
Oh, very cool.
I
All right.
liked Rocky.
I liked Rocky a lot.
Yes.
And my name is Iris Niang. I landed 1st place with Spiffy.
Very cool. All right.
Well, congratulations to you all. I know that you had a lot of entries come in, Kayla, and we took a look at some of these, and they were some pretty impressive entries there.
Very, very impressive. Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh. Iris, we'll go to you and just ask, what was your how did you come up with your concept for your mascot?
Well, from the get-go, I did know that I wanted to color it digitally because, when it comes to drawing stuff, it just looks a lot nicer when you can get like the richness of using, like an app or a program to make it sort of like almost professional, I would say. But a lot of it came from my brother because we were both kind of talking about it after my art teacher from school brought it up, and like we were just kind of like throwing ideas around, and my brother, it was sort of a joke. He was like, "Why don't you just draw a stick guy and just submit that in?" And I was like, no. But then I started thinking about it, and if you look at Spiffy now, he is kind of like a very simplistic looking thing, but very cute, I would say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was like, even though I was the winner, there's my art teacher, my little brother, a little bit more people working behind the scenes. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. All right. And Bradley, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Rocky?
So when I was first designing Rocky Raccoon, I didn't know about this contest, but it was my aunt who actually brought it up to me. She brought up the idea, and I'd like to thank her for the support, and I'd also like to thank my dad and my friends for their immense support. But how I came up with Rocky is that I wanted, because every mascot, you got to make it recognizable. I mean, every single mascot you have, you got to make it recognizable. You got to make it, engaging. So I wanted to make Rocky, something... I wanted to make him look like one of those Rubber Hose cartoon characters a lot, since, all of the old cartoon characters you see now, they're always timeless. They've been around for almost, about 100 years. They're always timeless. So you can basically use that design. And I wanted to make him a raccoon because you always see raccoons around, trash and stuff. So it would be, it's kind of like something you would think about. So I wanted to make Rocky something that you could just, immediately recognize, recognize his silhouette, and just, that's how I came up with the design.
Okay. Cool. And Megan, tell me a little bit more about Petey.
I'd like to thank my mom because she normally brings out a lot of these contests to me, and that's how I normally get introduced to them. But the main idea for Petey was I was just thinking about it, and I was thinking about nostalgic PBS Kids cartoons like Arthur, and that was just one of my main inspirations for it. I wanted it to be like a little child cartoon where they would just go around and like hang out and teach lessons. That was just mainly my inspiration for it. Just nice, something simple.
Sure.
I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with the drawings and that I saw. I mean, I can't even draw a stick man, and this was pretty impressive to see these. So congratulations to you all, and I'm so glad that you entered the contest. And so how did it make you feel to be a part of it, and especially to be a third, a second, and a first place winner?
It makes me feel very grateful that out of all like the contestants, I was able to be at least in the top 5 at least. It makes me feel very lucky, I'd say, and I'm very, very happy.
I was actually pretty shocked when I found out that I was in like one of the finalists, because I knew that there would be like a bunch of people who would also be entering the art contest, and I didn't even expect to become a finalist, but I'm also very grateful I became a finalist too.
And I was also kind of shocked because this was the first art competition that I've ever entered in. I'm pretty shy, but I think I've come to be a little bit more like bolder, trying to try new things, new opportunities. So this was a nice step forward, and landing first place is like a really big sign, encouragement to keep going. So it's very nice.
So has this inspired you, Iris, to draw more and try to come up with some more artistic ideas?
Yes, I love art, and a short while after I had entered this competition, there was the Azalea Art Festival, and they also had a little competition there as well. So I entered that and submitted a painting, because I was kind of like feeling like I was on a roll. So why not keep going?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And all of you are so talented. Are you all planning to continue with your art?
I hope so.
On the side, at least, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my art teacher. If it wasn't for her, I would have never known that there was an art contest. Miss Kim, she's awesome. So if she ever hears this, thank you so much.
Very cool to see what you guys were all capable of with drawings that you submitted, and people should definitely try to check out where we've posted up the final designs.
Well, I'm very excited to see the finished product. I know right now it's in production. So Iris, your concept is going to be out on the streets of Fayetteville, hopefully around in some community events, and that's pretty impressive. So we appreciate that.
We're going to keep it spiffy clean.
There you go. That's what I was going to ask, Kayla. Do we have a tagline or?
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
We're keeping it spiffy clean. I just want to thank you all for participating in this. It was really big. I love art, so I'm just glad that you submitted your artwork. It's beautiful.
And as the top 3 winners, I know that you were able to, I think you got recognized at a city council meeting, and you've got a lot of recognition for it and got some pretty cool prizes, from my understanding. But keep up the good work, and we were so glad to have you on the podcast today to talk about it. So if people want more information about solid waste services, Kayla, or if they have any questions about the A Week, the B Week, how can they find out that information?
They can visit the website. All of the information is there. It is fayetteville.nc.gov/solid-waste, or they can reach out to the call center at 910-433-1329.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode of the Fayetteville 411. The Fayetteville 411 is one of several podcasts that the city produces for our podcast channel, Radio Fayetteville. Be sure to subscribe to Radio Fayetteville on most of your favorite streaming platforms.
You can also listen to every podcast that Radio Fayetteville has to offer by downloading the Fay TV streaming app, available now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV. You can view all of our video content by visiting faytv.net. To get information about city services, go to our webpage at fayettevillenc.gov. Thanks for joining us.